The Boy Next Door. My name is Sophie Turner, and this is the story of how everything changed the year I turned 16. I grew up in Rosewood, a quiet suburban neighborhood just outside of Chicago. Life there was simple. Children riding bikes in the street, neighbors watering their lawns, the smell of barbecues in summer. Our house was on Maple Lane, and for years the house next door had been empty. One hot afternoon in July, a moving truck finally arrived. I stood by my window watching curiously as a family unloaded boxes, and that was the first time I saw him, Lucas Gray, the boy next door. He was tall, a little older than me, with messy brown hair and a serious face. He carried boxes easily, his shirt sticking to his back in the heat. I didn't know then that he would soon become the center of my world. First meetings. The next day, I was watering flowers when he walked past and nodded. "Hey," he said, his voice calm. I froze for a moment, then whispered back, "Hi." That was all, but my heart beat wildly. A few days later, I saw him again at the small park down the street. He was sitting alone, sketching in a notebook. I gathered courage and asked, "What are you drawing?" He looked up, surprised, then showed me a rough sketch of the playground. "Just passing time," he said. I smiled. That was the beginning. Soon, we started talking more. He told me his family moved from Denver because his father got a new job. He missed his old friends. I told him about Rosewood, about school, about the boring summers here. Slowly, we began spending more time together. Summer adventures. That summer was different from all others. Lucas and I rode our bikes through the streets, shared milkshakes at the diner, and spent long evenings sitting on the roof of his garage, watching the sky turn orange and pink. He was quiet most of the time, but when he laughed, it was real, warm, and unforgettable. I started to notice everything about him, the way his hair fell over his eyes, the way he bit his lip when he was thinking. And slowly, secretly, I fell in love with the boy next door. But the problem is, I never told him. I was afraid. Afraid it would ruin everything, afraid he didn't feel the same. So I kept my love hidden, locked inside my heart, the secret. One evening, while we were sitting in the park, he whispered, "Sometimes I feel invisible." "Invisible?" I asked. "Yeah," he said, looking at the sky. "Back in Denver, nobody really noticed me. Here, it feels the same." I wanted to scream, "I notice you! I see you every day. I think about you every night." But instead, I only said softly, "I notice you." He smiled faintly, but I don't think he understood the weight of my words. The dance. September came, and with it, the high school fall dance. Everyone in town was talking about it. My friends asked if I was going, but I didn't want to, until Lucas surprised me. "Are you going to the dance?" he asked casually one afternoon. "I don't know," I said nervously. "You should," he said. "It might be fun." That night, I couldn't stop thinking. Was he hinting? Was he asking? Or was it just small talk? In the end, I went. I wore a simple blue dress and walked into the gym, lights flashing, music loud. I searched for him everywhere, but he wasn't there. My heart sank. Half an hour later, I saw him, standing near the door, looking awkward, hands in his pockets. Our eyes met. Slowly, he walked over. "You look nice," he said. I smiled, cheeks burning. "Thanks." We danced once, clumsy and shy, but to me, it felt perfect. The goodbye. But happiness doesn't last forever. In November, Lucas told me his father's company was moving again, this time to Boston. My chest tightened. "When?" I whispered. "After Christmas," he said quietly. The weeks that followed were heavy. We still met, still laughed, but every moment felt like it was slipping away too quickly. On Christmas Eve, he came to my door with a small, wrapped box. Inside was a silver bracelet with a tiny heart. "For you," he said. "So you remember me." I wanted to cry. I wanted to tell him everything. that he wasn't just my friend, that he was my first love. But the words stayed stuck in my throat. Instead, I hugged him and whispered, "Thank you." The next morning, I watched from my window as his family's car drove away. He looked out once, saw me, and lifted his hand in a small wave. Then he was gone. The house next door was empty again. Winter felt colder than ever. I wore the bracelet every day, hiding it under my sleeve so no one asked. At night, I lay awake, remembering the laughter, the bike rides, the dance, the smile. Time passed. I finished high school, started college, met new people. But the memory of Lucas stayed with me. My first secret love, the boy next door. 4 years later, during a summer break, I returned to Rosewood. One evening, as I walked past the old park, I saw someone sitting on the bench with a sketchbook. My heart stopped. It was him. Lucas. Older now, but still the same. He looked up and his eyes widened. "Sophie?" I smiled nervously. "Hi, Lucas." We laughed, awkward at first, then easier, like nothing had changed. We talked for hours, catching up on everything, the years apart, the places we'd been. At one point, he looked at me and said softly, "You know, you were the best part of Rosewood for me." My chest tightened. I finally found the courage I never had before. I whispered, "You were mine too." The ending. I don't know what will happen now. Maybe we'll stay in touch. Maybe life will separate us again. But this time, at least, I spoke. At least he knows. Because first loves are powerful. They never truly leave. And sometimes, if you're lucky, the boy next door isn't just a memory. Sometimes he comes back.